Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, testing. What a day, man. They were saying that it was gonna be a snowstorm over here where I'm at, and still ain't shit. And I'm kind of happy too. Like, that's actually not a bad thing. I hate the snow, and it's not that I hate it, but growing up in California, I'm not used to the snow. I'm still naive, and I forget people gotta get up and shovel that fucking snow. So, yeah, sorry about that. Um, Man, Luca just missed two. I needed 2 more points for that Lakers game. I needed 2 more points for Luca. I had him for 35. He only got 33. This only wanted to go off at the end, I guess. But he went against the Mavericks to his old team. But fuck it, it is what it is. Isn't it just fucking crazy, like, how now we have the opportunity to literally gamble from our phone? Like, I don't know if anybody else had that feeling back in the days, like, when I grew up watching, like, the Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I know they're not the Anaheim Angels anymore. They're the Los Angeles Angels, but back when I would watch the team, that's what they were called. And Santos Laguna, you'd see a lot of really good games. Um, I was really more into baseball though, more than anything when it came to sports. Baseball, the thing is, it all had its eras pretty much. So, like, I grew up, and I remember, for sure, I didn't watch personally because I was so young. I might have been like 6 or 7, maybe even younger. Um, when the Bulls were winning the three-peat. I was born in 91. These was won in 95, 96, 97, or 96, 97, 98. Um, so the first three-peat, I was a baby. The second three-peat, I was just a kid. So, I mean, I mean, yeah, of course, there are kids that are conscious of sports at a young age and whatnot, but I wouldn't say that I was too conscious at that age. Let me see. This was one in so 96, 97, 98. 96, 97, 98. I was 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm sure there were some kids that their soul was born straight into that, and for me it was, but for me it was more like Santos Laguna. At that time, it was more like Mexican soccer, and maybe not even that young, to be honest. Um, because I don't think so. I don't think I was really into sports when I was that young of an age. Um, I do have a lot of different memories in sports, but just the simple fact that I remember, like, oh, like, Dad, can we watch these fools play? Like, the youngest I can probably remember for sure is Santos Laguna, somewhere around like fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade. The Angels probably like sixth, seventh, or eighth. I remember it was 2002, so I had to have been, what, 11. Uh, um, I remember for sure it was around seventh or eighth grade, because my brother had bought me the jacket, the Anaheim Angels jacket. So I do remember that part. Anyways, so that's one thing that ZzReports is gonna be about. Just basic sports. Um, Basic sports, psychology, and philosophy. Even though I really don't know exactly what that is, but what I mean in my eyes is like I want to see everything when it comes to sports. Like I want to see the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Anything from like the new coach from the Miami Dolphins. You know, that was kind of a humbling introduction, and just hearing how he used to start off, you know, scrubbing helmets, cleaning helmets and whatnot, just different things like that. And he said that he stepped under his office. I think he said when he was at Penn State, but that was pretty interesting right there. Just knowing the fact that a human being would, you know, he believed in himself so much, and you know, he would sleep in under his desk. I think they said for 2 years. So, you know, I want to learn about situations like that because it's true. Like in the big picture, in the big picture, and this is what I mean by philosophy and psychology. Like when it comes to sports, up to a point, I would say we don't give a fuck about anything except the winning and losing. Does your team win a championship or does it not? Like, to be honest, that's why for me it's like I got out of that a long time ago. Because it's just such a fucking heartbreak when your team, a team that you love, you know, and I'm using that word very, very truly, like, that's the only way to look at it. Like, when you are in love with a certain team, there's literally just nothing fucking like it, like, for reals. And I would say more than anything, it would be like something like baseball. Like, but all of them are very, very dope. Because, like, the way I used to see baseball was part of my everyday life. You know? It was just, I knew from 7 to 10, from 7 to 10, 7:10 to around 10 at night, my life was just gonna be watching the baseball game. You know? The Angels and the Dodgers. Vince Scully on one side, Steve Physiox and Rex Hudler on the other side. Except when they were playing away games. When they played at Dodger Stadium and in Edison Field, the first pitch was always at 7:10. And you know, it was dope knowing that right after school, January, February, March, you have March, April, May, June, July. Like, it was all through school, you know? So you would start off your day, you know, after opening day. And I remember those days would always be like afternoon games. I never went to an opening day that I remember. I know for sure I didn't. But it was dope because like those games sometimes they would always have them like in the afternoon or something while school was going on there. If I remember correctly. If I remember correctly. But or would they have them a lot on Sundays too? I think it would just depend on when the schedule was played, but I remember when Dodgers, well, or maybe I'm thinking about the playoffs. Because I remember some playoffs games started in the afternoon while school was in session. But, I mean, either way, um, you'd wake up, you'd go to school, and you already knew from 7 to 10, I was either watching the Angels game or I was watching the Dodgers game. And that shit was so fucking sick. Seeing Cesar Izturis, Garrett Anderson, Sean Green, Tim Salmon, Eric Gagne, Troy Percival, Jeff Kent, Adam Kennedy, Adrian Gonzalez, Benji Molina, Alex Cora, Vladimir Guerrero, my favorite, Paula Duca, Darren Erstad. Who were some other great players? I'm not gonna lie, I was more of an Angels fan. I know a lot more Angels players, Rob Quinlan, Sean Wooden, Jose Molina. Steve Finley was with the Angels for a while. Jim Edmonds was with the Angels. Scott Spezio, David Eckstein. Then Macier came with the Angels for a while. Then the Weavers. Jeff Weaver started off in the Dodgers, then he came to the Angels, if I remember correctly. Then his younger brother was with the Angels. Or was it just his brother that was with the Angels? Nah, I think both of them were with the Angels. But Jose Guillen, I remember he was with the Angels for a small stint, maybe a couple of months into the season until he got traded. Troy Gloss. Mike Scioscia was a manager. He played for both the Angels and the Dodgers. Well, he managed the Angels and he played for the Dodgers. I'm sorry. He won a World Series with the Dodgers too, and with the Angels. Nice. With the Dodgers as a player and with the Angels as a coach. Dope. K-Rod, Frankie Rodriguez, John Lackey, Jared Washburn, Scott Shields, Brandon Donnelly. A lot of good Angels players. And I know I'm still missing a lot, to be honest. Did I say Darren Erstad? Yeah, hell yeah. Very good Gold Glove winner. Just seeing Vladdy, he was my favorite, man. Just his walk-up song. If he would get a double, sometimes when he would jump out the batter's box. The way he just swung at everything, fuck. Vladdy was Vladdy. It's Vladdy time. But just, growing up around that was what was really dope around baseball. Just remembering all those things. There was also some Atlanta Braves games too. I remember they would have it on TNT, if I remember correctly. The only thing about those were that they would come on really early, if I remember correctly. Maybe around 3 or 4. So it was kind of weird. Because I'm not going to say baseball was my whole life, because it wasn't. But I didn't want to watch baseball from 4 to 7, then from 7 to 10. That's a 6, almost 7 hour gap. If I'm going to watch some baseball, I'm going to watch the LA teams. The Braves were cool. They had Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, a bunch of good starting pitchers. Just a good overall team. But, I was going to watch the LA teams, to be honest. I mean, I did catch a couple of those games just because, you got to see more of a variety of a different division. And the Angels played in the American League West, so they played a lot with the Oakland A's, Seattle Mariners, Texas Rangers at the time. After that, that's when Houston moved into the division. After I stopped watching baseball. With the Dodgers, it was the Colorado Rockies, San Diego Padres, and Arizona Diamondbacks, and the San Francisco Giants. And on this side, with the Braves, you had the Mets, the Braves. Who else is in that division? Mets, Braves. I'm not looking at any notes or anything right now, so. Mets, Braves, Phillies, and Mets, Braves, Phillies, and I'll remember the other one later. But, you just kind of, you get more accustomed to seeing these teams. Because I remember the Dodgers would play a lot against their division rivals. Same thing with the Angels, so. You got used to seeing the San Diego Padres all the time. You got used to seeing the Diamondbacks. Every other fucking game was against the Giants, And, so it was cool, though. But see, this is what ZzReports is about. Going into every little thing about sports and everything from my experiences that I understand, And of course, if I get any information wrong, feel free to put me on the spot and let me know. Like, I'm not tripping. Like, I enjoy when I'm being corrected if I'm saying something wrong, because it was funny. Me and my lead, right here where I'm at right now, we went on a little Walmart run, and he was telling me, like, he just turned around while we were on the drive back home, and not home, but back to the hotel, and he was like, "What's your favorite childhood movie?" And I just thought about it right away, and I was like, 50 First Dates. Like, that's the first one that legitly I can say, like, I really enjoyed that movie, and that's one of my favorite movies. If if not, probably my favorite. And I'm sorry for the coughing, by the way. I'm getting sick up and down. Like, I feel like I'm sick. I feel like I'm not. So. But I was just like, 50 First Dates. And then he was just like, damn, that's a good one. Then we kind of started naming other ones that Adam Sandler had done. But then I told him, I was like, what's a good one, bro? Meet the Fockers. And then he's just like, oh, yeah, for sure, that's a good one. But the first one, but I totally forgot that the first movie of that trilogy, or, that 3-part movie, the first movie was called Meet the Parents. So I'm over here pretty much saying, like, oh yeah, nah, for sure Meet the Fockers is the first movie. Like, I remember there was 3, but I don't remember the original one. Like, I thought the original one was Meet the Fockers. I forgot that the original one was Meet the Parents. So I was just basically like, yeah, bro, nah, for sure, it's Meet the Fockers. Like, I remember 100%. Like, nah, like, I remember. And then he showed me. He's like, nah, look, bro. And I was like, oh shit, it is Meet the Fockers first, then it's Meet the Parents. Like, damn. So, I'm always I'm always wrong too. I'm not perfect. I'm a fucking idiot sometimes too. Um, but yeah, if you feel like, or if you know that I have any information wrong, just go ahead and tell me. I'm gonna try not to say as much information. Like if I don't know it, then I'm not gonna say it, or I'll say I don't. But there's just some things that I do remember, some things that I don't. And that's what I want to show you about ZZ Reports. Like I want ZZ Reports just to be somewhere to come and talk, and that's it. Like I'm very interested into sports when it comes to the players, the coaches, training, like what really goes into running an organization and a franchise. You you know. I mean, I grew up an Angels fan. Santos Laguna for Mexican soccer. A Dodgers fan. Those would I have to say be my top three. Angels, Dodgers, and then Santos. If it's if it's in real order, I would say it's the Angels, Santos, and then the Dodgers. But the Dodgers, we would go to so many games. It was badass. Like you know, there's just something about going to see live games. Like it's just fucking sick. I still see no snow, so that's a good thing, right? It was supposed to snow real bad right here. I don't know if I already said that, but thankfully, I still don't see any snow. Um, and that's what I want to show you. ZZ Reports is going to be about that. You know, diving into different topics, talking about just these six different top topics that I'm just very interested in. You know, and I hope to learn as much as I can with each topic and give my experiences more than anything. I want to show what I know about all these six topics. Um, I'm not shy to give my input. I don't want to say give my opinion, but give my input on certain stuff that has worked for me. You know, I have experiences in running groups of 30, 40, 50, 60, almost 200 people. You know, I've worked with so many people around the United States, and it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure, to be honest. Just to meet all types of people, you know. I'm blessed enough to say that at the moment, I haven't had any issues with anybody. Um, it's been all good, and I just hope it stays like that, you know. Because there's a lot of people that like to say like, "Oh man, like you're good, bro." My bad, I had to take a little break, but there's a lot of people in this world, that are like, "Oh man." Well, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say, so it don't even fucking matter. Oh, now I remember. There's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, bro, like, or hey, as long as you come in and work, I don't care what you do, this and that." Like, that shit's a bunch of bullshit. I've only met a handful of people that kept their word when that shit happens. But I shouldn't even expect to from people. Like it's not. It's just not the way it should be sometimes. Like we as humans, we know who's cool, we know who's not. I feel like we should know who we get a certain vibe from to act a certain way around. You know what I mean? So, but so I've talked a lot about sports. This one for a little bit. It's been recording for like 20 minutes now. But that was just something quick about sports. Like, I want to show you how I want to deep dive into all those little situations because I also like the traveling aspect of it. I travel for work, so like I kind of feel what these baseball players, football players, all these athletes, what they're going through. Like right now, I'm in Philly. I'm from Los Angeles. You know, a year ago at this time, I was in Portland, Oregon. Then before that, I was in LA working at a different warehouse. Before that, I was in Indiana. Before that, in Mississippi. Like, maybe not even in that order, but just, you know, I just move around so much. And that's why I say, like, I kind of feel like them at a sense. You know what I mean? Um, it's nice, and then it's not. Because basically being out on the road, you have to understand that you're an outsider. You can't get too comfortable. Like, I come from LA. I come where you don't fuck around with people, because they will fucking rob you. They will fucking set you up. And if you're just going out there and you're just promoting yourself as an open billboard, like, hey, I come out of town and I have my own room and I have my own rental car, like, people are gonna play you for the dummy, and they're just, hey, what's up? Like, you want me to show you around town? You're over here like, yeah, hell yeah. Well, fuck it, come pick me up. You got the rental? Like, oh shit. Like, and of course when you go out, you're gonna want to be drinking, smoking. It is what it is. And I mean, if you're not into that, then that's cool. But I mean, when I used to like to go out like that, I was just going to fucking drink. To be honest, I didn't really give a fuck. I just wanted to go drink. And but being on the road, especially in my 30s, in my early 20s, and my early 30s, and mid 30s, because I'm 34 right now. You're basically like for me, it's more mature. Like, fuck, I'm just gonna be careful, dog. Like, because obviously, if you go out, you just want to chill, you know. But then once again, like, you might surround yourself around certain people that you shouldn't be around at that time, especially if you're out here to work, if you're out here to work, you're here to work straight up, so that's kind of how I always live my life right here out on the road. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say there hasn't been a time where I've gone out to a casino or to fucking chill, to go get something to eat. Nah, of course, yeah, but I'm talking about more in the big picture of going out every weekend and inviting random people to your room and going out with random people. But then again, like, I don't know, it is about having fun. Everybody chooses to do whatever the fuck they want to do. All I'm saying is, be safe. Don't put a target on your back. Don't put a mark on your back. And just be careful more than anything. Because, think about all these football players, all these athletes, basketball players, hockey players, whatever. Now they got a bunch of money. Now, shit, they can go out and do whatever the fuck they want. If they're into that shit. But see, for me, like I said, when it comes to sports, like, I don't know, like, if you're over here playing baseball, or hockey, or soccer, or whatever fucking sport you want to do. Like, honestly, okay, I see the big picture about the money part. But is it the point to, like, be holding a championship at the end? Like, you know, getting the trophy, holding that shit, kissing that shit, and just saying, like, I got you. Like, Like, or is it just me? You know. Now, obviously, I don't know because what do you call it? I'm not an athlete, and I didn't win a championship. I won championships in, like high school or like different scrimmage, games that we used to have at the parks when it came to like, uh, my old baseball teams and stuff like that. Recreational park and all that in high school, but and soccer too as well. Like championships. Like you won a championship, and, and I just knew I wasn't that good to go pro. It just is what it fucking is, bro. I'm not gonna be over here acting and saying like, you know what, I got a chance. I got a chance. Like, I knew I was a role player even at that point. I've watched enough ESPN and I've watched enough Sports Center at that time in my life when you were even seeing like you would see LeBron James. You know, I remember when LeBron James was drafted alongside D Wade and Chris Bosh, and they were they were all drafted to their respected teams. And bro, like he was 18. I thought about it myself. I was like, damn, this guy's only 6, 7 years older than me. Like, and he's about to go play with like fucking Kobe. Like, what is this fool doing? Like, god damn. Like, think about it. I was conscious enough to know that I needed to be a certain amount of good. And then on top of that, I knew I didn't have the body for it. I wasn't a big guy. I mean, I wasn't a tall guy. I was a fat guy, chubby guy. At one point, basically fat. Um, so yeah, I knew. I was a good athlete, gave it heart, um, and stuff like that. Would play with everything I had, which is always a good thing as well. Don't get me wrong. But I knew, um, for those type of guys, it was always gonna be that much harder. You know. Now, was I willing to put my body through it? I think so. Yes. But then again, like, we didn't go play travel ball. My parents didn't have the time to, really go take us to where we could get noticed or anything like that. And, we didn't play in big enough leagues. We played in parks and we played in stuff like that. We played in high school, but my high school, it wasn't like that. It didn't get traction like that. At all. There was no scouts. We didn't even have a soccer field. Um, you know what I mean? So, we didn't have a baseball team. So that's what I meant by, playing at the park for baseball. Like, I didn't have the resources around me to really take the next level. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like Bryce Harper, man. That's why I got a lot of respect for him. When he saw how good he was, he started training with guys that were older than him. At high school, he went to go play with college players. Like, that's incredible. You know? But one, I didn't have the grades for that. It's not like just anybody can do that type of shit. Um, I'm sure they're going to want to make sure he's educated enough, I would say, to to be able to do that, and to be honest, I wasn't. So, and neither was that. Um, and that's why I didn't really pursue it like that. You know, I had the heart, but I was gonna be realistic with myself, straight up. Um, so yeah, basically, that's what I think about when it comes to sports. You play to win a championship, right? Like once you got a championship, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You straight, dog. Like that's the point. You know, you build a team. That's it. Doesn't matter what role you had in the team. Doesn't matter what role you didn't have on the team. As long as you were in that team and contributed to it, you're good. You were part of a championship roster. Of course, you have situations like tomorrow. Jared Stidham plays for the Broncos. Hasn't played in 3 years or 2 years or whatever. But who gives a fuck? That's what it is with sports, and that's what I want to learn, and that's what I want to talk about. Like, anything can happen in sports. Anything. You know? We didn't know this was going to happen to Bo Nix. We didn't know at all. Now Jared Stidham's getting his opportunity. And that's it. Look at what happened to Nick Foles a couple of years ago. Not even a couple of years ago. Look at what happened to Nick Foles almost like 8 years ago. You know, obviously, two totally different situations. But honestly, who gives a fuck? Look at Mac Jones. He came in, did his job, won 2 games against two good teams, or against a bunch of good teams. I think it was 4 to 6 teams. All Jared Stidham has to do is come in and win 2 good games against 2 really good teams. But anything's doable. If it came to betting, fuck. I would just put some money on the Broncos for the storyline. At least for the Patriots. Because, I don't know. Like, I feel like. See, and this is one thing I want to make clear right now when it comes to sports. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. As long as the game is not rigged, we don't know. If you want to talk about rigged games, go watch Santos Laguna versus River Plate in Copa Libertadores. You will see what a rigged game is like. That shit happened in real time. Bullshit ass call. Rigged. It was set up. Have I ever seen anything like that in football? I don't know. Maybe I have and they haven't, and we don't know yet. But if we're talking about pure, these men are going to go out and play football, I don't know, man. I don't know. As long as that game's not rigged, because, and I'm not saying it is, once again. I'm just saying I'm hurt because of that Santos game. Santos Laguna versus River Plate. Copa Libertadores. Go look that shit up. They went to penalties that game. You'll see. I think the Broncos have a fair shot. You know? But once again, I don't know. You don't know. These sports analysts don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody. Anything can fucking happen. That's all I know. We will see at the end of the game when the winning player of the game is getting interviewed. That's when we will find out. And it's funny because like I love sports. I always this is something I've always wanted to do. Just talk about them. You know. I remember watching Sports Center growing up. And that's what another thing about that attracts me to this type of business, just like the television, the marketing, all of that. That's what I want to learn. When it comes to ZzReports, just learn about all of these things. Like I didn't know that certain states pass certain games. I mean, I knew like baseball. Like we're not gonna watch Philadelphia Phillies games in LA. I mean more like college football, like things like that. Because sometimes you just see random games on TV, so you think, well, is this Texas Longhorns game getting passed on every state? Like, is everybody watching this at this moment? You know, and no, it doesn't. No, they aren't. So that's what I want to learn when it comes to sports. Just everything. I want to talk about everything. Once again, I'm not an expert. I'm not here to be an expert. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to have you look at teams for a different way. No. I'm just here to talk about what I want to talk about when it comes to sports. I like watching press conferences. Like I watched the Steelers press conference today. Yesterday I watched the press conference with the Dolphins. I watched the one with the 49ers, the Texans, and I think one more. I forgot which one else, but I also watched that Bills one. I watched the Ravens one as well. That was a good one with the owner. But yeah, I'm down to start maybe reviewing some press conferences in the future. But for right now, I mainly want to focus on just speaking my mind when it comes to each of these topics in ZzReports. Just learning about all these different topics. It's gonna help me write my script. Which if you check in some of my other videos, it is basically about a group of people that start up a traveling third-party logistics company. And that's something I would want to do in the future. I have a lot of experience in it already. It's something that I think I'm good at. It's something that I've done on the ins and outs and stuff like that, And dealing with people, helping people find work, negotiating contracts. I haven't really done that part, but I would like to. I would like to learn. So, obviously, if I ever do get the chance to do that, I'd have to surround myself with a group of people that already know what they're doing as well, or with a small group of people at least, So, I'm not naive to that part, but it is something that I would like to accomplish in the future. Starting up a traveling 3PL, going from state to state, offering different services, just being able to send out people in the certain amount of time that they may need for the certain amount of time that they may need as well. And then after that, building a relationship with them to, be able to move to other warehouses they may be in, or that may need more assistance, there's a certain warehouse that they have in Georgia and they have another one in Indianapolis, maybe we can finish right here in Georgia and then head over to Indianapolis, you know what I mean? Or Indiana. If we're gonna go by state, but that's kind of the example that I want to show. You know, I got experience in logistics for the past 11 years. Let's see, where was I at? I don't even know where I was at. Let's see. We had talked about sports. Now we were talking about warehousing and how I started. 11 years. 11 years of experience. 5 years working at a warehouse in Los Angeles. 6 years working on the road. I've been to states like Illinois, Ohio, Georgia, Oregon, Indiana, New York, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, been to a couple of extra warehouses in California, and a couple of other states that I can't remember right now, but I am going to do videos, like I said, just taking a deep dive into every type of warehouse that I've been to. I don't want to say no names yet. I don't want to give no companies' names out yet. I'll just go by what type of warehouse they were. We'll go into them one by one and see what systems they were using. I'm very into systems as well, to see if they were using gladiators, Vocalettes, RF scanners, Zebra scanners, tiny computers, just anything along that line. And more than anything, my favorite was for sure being a receiver. That was always my favorite. But coming out on the road, I was more able to go into a management lead position. And I pause only because I've had a lot of responsibilities to do as a supervisor or manager. Been asked to do manager tasks and supervisor tasks. Gather up a list of people that can travel out to Melrose Parks in the next 2 days. Now I have to go through my contacts and start contacting people, and I'm not getting paid for that extra time. I'm doing it because the manager that was with me at the time was dope as fuck. So just know, to any managers out there, being cool and them seeing the real you, because I saw the real homeboy, in my manager, and he was a real homeboy to me, so I didn't mind taking my time out of my day to help him out, and it led me to where I'm at today. I learned a lot of things from him. So to any managers out there, anybody looking to move up the ranks, just keep that in mind, to be honest. Having to call hotels, having to book people rooms, having to get people flights, having to get MBRs ran on certain associates to get their, driver's license updated and have them be good to be an eligible driver in different situations like that, So I've been a lead that's been assigned a lot of managerial tasks and supervisor tasks as well, I've also been a trainer, trained people from the complete ground up to do order selecting, haul, replan, everything. I was a trainer in everything. All the functions that I knew, you at least train somebody once, right? So, it's nice knowing that I have all that experience in all these different functions, all these different type of warehouses doing just different types of things. More than anything, it's not always just one thing. Um, done functions from unloading containers to picking orders, replanning, slots that are about to run out of inventory, put away, loading, wrapping, staging, all of it. Inventory control, auditing, a little bit of everything. But for sure my favorite was a receiver. I also enjoyed being a lead as well. All the extra responsibility, all the extra duties is cool, but if you get lucky and you're at a certain project or you're at a certain place and you build a really good team around you, you should be okay. Which should always be the goal, to be honest. Just always build a good team around you. Let them know straight up ahead or straight up front what the goals are, what the plan is, how long you're gonna be there, what the plan is for being there, what the plans are for when we leave, everything. Just put everything out on the table. But the only thing is that in this business, sometimes just everything can change from one day to the next, literally. I've been at a site where I'm about to go to sleep. It's 10 in the morning. We have work at 6 in the afternoon, or 4 in the afternoon, I think we went in. But, I stayed up a little later than usual. And next thing you know, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? Oh, I need a favor. What's up? Is there any way you can help me go to Chicago? There's going to be 4 people that only speak Spanish going. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm about to go to sleep. We got work later on this afternoon. Like, I haven't talked to my manager. And he's like, no, well, I'll talk to him if he lets you go. And I'm just like, look, bro, I'm good where I'm at, please. And then he's just like, okay. And then he calls me back and he's like, look, if I didn't need you, I wouldn't be calling you. And I was just like, fuck. So, speaking Spanish, which I do, claro que sí, it does help out because it gets your name out there. It gets you noticed. You're a bilingual speaker. Now you have the one up on everybody as far as with the Latin workers. Now you can communicate with the Latin workers because in the company I work in, a lot of Spanish speakers that only speak Spanish. So, there's a lot of projects and a lot of sites that struggle with that. That, they only have one person, one point of contact, a lead or whatever, a lead, and that lead doesn't know Spanish, and he might have 3 or 4 Spanish speakers that, don't speak a lick of English. So, luckily, we live in a time where, you have translator on your phone now, but I can just imagine the times before all that stuff was coming out. But I enjoy the process that, I'm always a little bit more valuable to the company in that sense. And I haven't had any issues, thankfully, with any of the companies that I've gone to. I've always gone straightforward, go do what I need to do, whatever task I'm assigned, whatever function I do, I go and give it my best. I've had the opportunity, like I said earlier, running a group of 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100 to 200 people. So I have the experience on being able to control a team like that and being able to run a team like that. More than anything. It's not easy. And it doesn't only take one person, it takes multiple people, a lot more people. Depending if the shifts are cut into half. or anything like that. So those are all of the things that really come into play, you know, just all those situations. But I like to think of it as the underground world of logistics, because then at the same time, you know, it's just you see a lot of different angles when it comes to this world, you know. You see a lot of bad situations that people can run into, that you can run into on your own, you know, if you're not being careful. A lot of money being made on the side, a lot of different ways. Um, you know, just a bunch of random things going on at different sites. And that's why I say, like, I don't want to name no companies. I don't want to say no companies. Because, you know, at the end of the day, this shit's going on in all types of places. Just different places have different situations going on. And, you know, to be honest, it just really is what it is. You know? And, you know, you just kind of... I'm there to work. I'm there to mind my business. I'm there to make my money. But I enjoy, you know, seeing the way the world goes around, I guess you could say. Because it is what it is. It's like at every site, you know? You need some people that don't know how to do the job. Or don't perform as well as other people. Because that way, when you know you have a great worker that's about to get released from a certain site, or that's going to need an opportunity, you already have a spot there. You know, you always have some flexibility. You know, and it kind of sounds messed up to say, but at the same time, like, you know, that's why holding on to some people that are easily replaceable is a tactic, you know, the way I see it. You know, because then at the end of the day, like, even though they're slow, they might be able to come to work every day. When, you know, I'll give you the perfect example. There was this dude, great guy, good attitude. He just never showed up to work, though. You know? Every other fucking day. Oh, I don't feel good, this or that. Then sometimes when he would come in, he'd want to go home. And, but you know, don't get me wrong, when he was there, he was probably one of the top performers, if not the top performer for the days, for most days. And, you know, sometimes you just can't have that. I'd rather have some other person that's going to be at the 90s or 100% and be okay. Yeah, he's a lot slower than this fool, but you know what? He comes to work every day, doesn't come bothering anybody. He's good. So that's what I mean by, like, people that might not perform up to the standards sometimes as much. You know? And those are all managerial tactics. Same thing that I want to learn, like, when it comes to learning about management, learning about different companies, learning about the way companies see things. You know, how they operate, how they run their empires, you know? And those are all the type of situations I want to see right here on ZzReports. Like, just deep diving into all those situations. Once again, I'm not an expert. I'm not I'm not here to tell you exactly how to run it. I'm here to tell you my experiences and how I have done it to, you know, do a decent enough job. I've never had my boss calling me saying what the fuck I'm doing. Why the fuck are you doing this? Why the fuck are you doing that? Or, you know, anything like that. When it came to work. when it came to the way I was operating or managing a warehouse. You know, thankfully, never had that situation, and just gonna keep it going in that sense. You know, thankfully, right now at the warehouse that I'm at, I'm not in management. I'm just a regular associate, and I kind of enjoy it because I get to do things like this. I just get to talk about my experiences. So, I also do want to hear about other people's experience. So, if anybody wants to comment or reply or anything, just go ahead and do so. um, so that's one thing I really, like I said, I really enjoy about logistics in general, supply chain management or warehousing. You know, just being able to go learn all these functions. I'm staying out of a hotel room. I've been like that for the past 6 years. I would say out of the 12 years, I've only been home maybe like 2 or 3 months out of the year. So most of the time I spend it on the road. Most of the time I'm on the road. And, I plan soon. I hope soon at least. I have faith soon that I could get just, this channel off the ground and basically start up that the TV series that I have for shipping and receiving. I would like to make this into a book or into a TV series where people see these experience of warehouse workers as myself, and what we go through in this field and what I've been going through and what we've been going through, because I've known people that have been working in this field for 30, 40, 50 years, almost 60 years, So just what the average warehouse worker goes through, and I feel like I'm capable enough to do that. I met a lot of people. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of stories. And just remember, when you go to a warehouse, just be safe. The boxes are always gonna fucking be there. More than anything, just take care of yourself and be safe in that shit. And just being able to be in so many different warehouses and seeing how different ones operate is so fucking sick, to be honest. Just there's some that didn't give a fuck, and then there's some that went over the board, and but I respect it. I totally respect that. That's the point, right? Like, that's the way I'm gonna do it when I start up my third party. Like, everything is there for a reason. Everything is happening for a reason. So just relax. Sit back, put your headphones on, and listen to me talk about all these subjects. That's really all you gotta do. You ain't gotta do too much. Just chill out. We talked about music. We talked about some warehousing. Now let's talk about a little bit. No, we talked about sports. Sorry, not music. Let's talk about music now, man. I started playing the drums maybe around 1920. So I wasn't young or anything. I had always loved music though. My main thing was always to sing. I love to sing. But basically, my brother used to sing all over LA, and I remember he started practicing the accordion, and then my other brother already played the guitar, so I just simply went up to my oldest brother and I told him, I was like, "What's up? If I learn how to play the drums, would you let me join the band?" Just like that. Or would you be interested, if we can work together? Like, I want to be a musician. And that fool was just like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you serious?" And I was just like, "Yeah." he was just like, shit. I swear to God, the next fucking day I went down to the International House of Music in downtown. I went and bought a snare. You know, um, it was just I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to play the drums. I wanted to go out and gig around LA with them, and after practicing years, maybe a year or so and months, a year and some months, our reality came true. We formed a band, and we started gigging around LA. It was all just me and my three brothers, and those were just some of the best moments for sure of my life. Like, I didn't know it at the time, I thought it was gonna be a thing that went on forever, but at the time, just being able, like right now it's a Saturday, January 24th. So, you know, 10 years ago for sure. Well, right now it's technically Sunday because it's already past midnight, but 10 years ago for sure, around this time, I was gigging on a Saturday. You know, if it fell on the same day, if it happened to fall on the same day on a Saturday, more than likely we were gigging, we were getting a lot of work, thank God, and everything was dope. We were probably working at the warehouse already at the time, so being able to make some extra cash as well. But that was just something cool. We would play like música norteña pretty much. Chalino, Invasores, Ramon Ayala, Juan Villarreal, Los Tucanes. We played at borracheras, we played at amanecidas, baptisms, weddings, birthday parties, everything. We played at everything. And we played all around LA County, Highland Park, Cypress Park, Lincoln Heights, Boyle Heights, East LA, South Central, Eagle Rock, Riverside, Pico Rivera, La Puente, Van Nuys, San Gabriel Valley, Riverside, just all over. That shit was fucking sick. Pasadena, Altadena. Shout out to Pasadena and Altadena. Shit was sick. Shout out to all those places. East LA, South Central showed a lot of love to us. Boyle Heights. It was fucking cracking, And, I got a lot of love for the people that hired us. I can honestly say we never had a bad experience. We never had anybody that did us dirty. Everywhere we went to was nothing but respect. They fed us. They gave us drinks. They paid us well. They pampered us, to be honest, man. They would treat us, us being the musicians. They gave us whatever we wanted. Whether it was drugs, alcohol, food, whatever you asked for. It was just sick. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't say it was the smartest thing to do at the time, but it's just the way the life of a musician went sometimes, and I'm just very blessed to say that, I never had a bad experience with anybody that hired us for our services. They were always, and every single person that took the time to think about us, to go play at their wedding or party or for whatever situation they may need. That's just an honor in itself, because I believe that having people hire you for a profession that you're doing, whether you be an artist or you're a musician or you're just anything you choose to be, for somebody to pay you for those services is just one of the hardest things to do. So, we had to have been doing something right to get as much work as we did, and I feel like our personality did a lot to do with it. My brother's personalities, they would talk to a lot of people, become friends with them, and we would also become friends with them. And they always showed us a lot of love. Everybody, every single person. And to this to this day, I always try to think of one bad experiences, and I can never think of it. So I'm very, very happy about that. But we've gigged all over, and I'm happy to just talk about these experiences, what I've learned from gigging, what I've learned from my music experiences, um, just in general, the hard work we had to put into it. One time we tried out for Kevin Ortiz, which is Gerardo Ortiz's brother, and that kind of taught me how be careful with your opportunities because you never know when they're gonna happen. You know, I remember my brother had a friend from Pasadena, Altadena, and he was homeboys with one of the homeboys from Kevin Ortiz and Gerardo Ortiz Clica, and he got us a tryout. He got me a tryout for the drums for Kevin Ortiz, and my brother was able to also get a tryout for the bass. And obviously we didn't get it. We weren't that experienced, but I mean, it really did go to show you need to be ready for when your opportunity is gonna come to you, because believe me, it will come. And that's just something that everybody needs to understand. The opportunity will come and it will show up. You just have to really wait your time. That's really all it is. Music is going to be one of those subjects that I might least talk about. I want to talk about it as much as I can, but I know it's going to be a lot more like my favorite music, my favorite albums, my favorite songs, my favorite, musicians. So, and more than that, just experiences and stories that we've had gigging. But for right now, I'll just continue to the next one, which is the weight loss. Weight loss has been a big thing for me. The biggest I went up to that I know for sure I was at, was 350. 350. I know that because at one point I weighed myself at 290, and from there I just didn't stop eating. I remember I just kept stuffing myself like crazy, and I saw videos that went from that time forward a couple of years, like I just looked bigger. So I know at one point I had to have hit 350. I never stepped on a scale. I never proved it. And I never put that in my head, even though I know it was true. So I remember I got sent to a company in Mississippi, and right there I was asked to pick, and that's where I lost around the first, I would say, maybe like the first 90 pounds. Because after that I had gone home and weighed myself. I was at 260. So I was like, oh shit, I've lost a bunch of weight just off picking. But obviously, yeah, because when you're picking, you're just moving around all day. You're just picking boxes all day, lifting boxes all day. So, like, if you're not losing weight while you're picking, there's something wrong. You gotta be gaining muscle or something, and just because you move around way too much not to be losing any weight. So then I remember I was just around 260. Then I weighed myself again. I went down to 230, but then when I had weighed myself again in the beginning of the year, I should have been around 260. That was at the beginning of 2025. So then I remember I just told myself, I was like, you know what? You were thin in high school. You had lost a bunch of weight in high school. Because I remember I had gone through the same situation in high school. I was a fat, chubby kid. And I was invited to a 15. And I remember I just wanted to lose the weight. You know, to go to that 15. And getting out of sophomore year, going into my junior year, the first day out of school, I just told my mom to wake me up every day with her to go to the park and run. And sure enough, that's what I did my whole summer. I would just go and run. And I ended up losing a shit ton of weight. I ended up looking really good. And, you know, I was really proud of myself, you know, because I had lost a lot of weight. Everybody noticed. You know, it's funny, my little brother was telling me, like, yo, people are asking if you got liposuction or liposuction and all that shit. So, you know, I grew up with the intense jokes and the harsh jokes so I could take them. But, you know, it was nice to see that people noticed. And the only thing I did at that time, which I'll make another video about this one, is went on the Special K diet. That's it. The Special K diet is a diet that involves running and doing as much cardio and walking as you can, and only eating Special K cereal for a summer break. I did it. The only thing I got out of my diet was the first day. I remember the first day when my mom woke me up to go run. We finished the run. Then my mom used to like to stop to a coffee shop. And next to that coffee shop, there was a Subway. My mom gave me some money to go to the Subway. I went and I just remember eating that shit halfway. I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, do you want to lose this weight? Or what the fuck are you doing? And sure enough, I finished that shit. I was mad at myself. I went the next day and I started the Special K diet. I would pop out a bowl of Special K cereal, put that shit in there, pick out the strawberries, put in the milk, and start eating. That was a Special K diet. That's for anybody in high school that wants to lose weight. That's kind of tough. I don't recommend that shit to nobody. But if you think you can handle it, go for it. So then, yeah, being older, I just told myself, like, bro, really? Like, are you really gonna just end up being this fat? Like, oh, hell nah, that's crazy. You know, a lot of people like to talk a lot of shit saying, oh, once you're 30, this and that. Bro, forget all that. Fuck all that. Forget it. You can do it at whatever age you want to do it. I'm telling you right now. They just don't want you to do it. This is the way I see it. They just don't want you to do it. So, you go ahead and do it. I just changed up my diet. And I did a little workout routine. You know? I told myself, I was like, you know what? You're only getting older. And do you really want to, you know, you're 32, 33 years old. And, you know, you're basically, what, 50, 40 pounds away from being another 300 pounds. It's either right now or fuck. You know? So, yeah, I changed up my diet. You know, because I used to justify it all the time, like, since we were working 12, 13-hour shifts, you know, you would tell yourself like, oh, it's cool. I'll just go to Burger King or I'll go to McDonald's and eat three, four burgers, two, a Whopper, an original chicken sandwich, and two small burgers or whatever. Yeah, that's how it was. For real, for real. And basically, you'd order two fries as well with the Diet Coke. And, you'd say, like, oh, it's cool, dog. Like, I didn't eat shit all day, Like, it's all good. Like, I didn't eat nothing. I think I deserve it, blah, blah, blah. And, at the end of the day, that's really not how it's supposed to be. Like, that's really not how it's supposed to go, And, so I just told myself, I was like, look, just switch up your diet, do a couple of in-room workouts that are going to help you out. And sure enough, that's what I did. I was in Portland, Oregon in the middle of, this was May. January, February, March, April, May. So literally halfway through the year. I was probably around, let's say 240. Now let's say 250. Because I still wasn't eating all that healthy. I was around 250. And I was just like, okay. My bad, I was yawning. They needed a couple people up in Jersey. So I told myself that I was gonna go to a picking site. I was gonna stay in Oregon and go to this picking site that I knew I could lose some weight. I had already done it prior over there in Mississippi. So I was like, this is perfect. I already had gone to that warehouse before. I already knew the workout routine I was gonna do, so cool. Then they needed some help in Jersey. And I was like, fuck, like, okay, like, let's go. And I told myself to stick to the routine and we'll figure out when we get there what I'm going to do. Come to find out, the next morning, we got there like at midnight. We got to Philly. Because, that's the closest airport right here to Jersey where the warehouse is at. The Philadelphia airport, we got to Philly. The lead came to pick us up, and I couldn't see in the back that there was an open field behind the parking lot of the hotel. So the next morning when I had woke up, I opened it, and you just see a big ass open field, and I was so happy. I was like, damn, I'm gonna go buy some cleats that same day. And I was like, because I already had a kitchen, we had no roommates, no nothing. And I had a kitchen, so I just went on a total calorie deficit diet. I basically stopped eating in bulk, and I was like, look, I'm gonna wake up, eat nothing. I was never used to eating, but in break, eat some boiled eggs. Not eat nothing throughout the morning until 12. That was the time that we went to lunch. So eat 3 boiled eggs, and then in the afternoon eat a tuna salad. And just little by little you started noticing, because I was working out Monday through Friday, and then Friday in the night I would go out for maybe like an hour, 2 hour, just to walk and a run around that open field. Saturdays, I would go in the morning for a 2-hour run, come back in the afternoon, go back out in the afternoon for another 2 hours. So I was putting in the work as well, I was putting in the work as well, and it was dope. Especially once you start seeing the results. Once you really start seeing the results, it's just something else because you see your body going in a little bit more. You start, your face starts getting a little thinner, and so I went to go do that, and I spent a couple of months there. Then we ended up getting sent back to Oregon. So then I went back there for a while. And then at that time I was already pumped, but I just felt like I wasn't losing the good amount of weight. And that's basically because I had a homie over there. And I would spend some time with that fool sometimes on the weekend. Time that I was normally working out. And I still did my Monday through Friday workouts. Everything was cool on that end. But I always like to push myself that extra on the weekends at the time. So I felt like with my homie being there, I wasn't being as productive as I could be. A couple of months later, maybe like a month or so later, they ended up saying that they needed a couple of people back over here, where I'm at right now, in the Jersey warehouse. So that's where I started. That's where I started to think, and I was like, you know what? If I really want to make my weight to go down to 170, I really gotta go. I'm not losing anything over here. I have nowhere to work out, nowhere to run. That was another thing. Because over here, I knew I had the open field. I knew I was walking 10,000 steps a day at work. Over here at the other warehouse in Oregon, I wasn't doing that. So I didn't have the upper advantage. So, I didn't want to go back to the East Coast because I'm from the West Coast. But I figured for my diet and what I wanted out of my goal, I needed to. So I came back, made the tough decision to come back. And it was only tough because, I enjoy being on the West Coast. All respect to the East Coast, it's all dope, it's all cool, but West Coast is the best coast. I came back over here, and I just pretty much kept going where I left off. I went back to going into the park, running, exercising as much as I can, and throughout later on in these videos, I'm gonna keep explaining what I did, my workouts, everything. I'm gonna give you guys everything. Don't need anything, just give it to you. And I'm happy to say, as of right now, Sunday, January 25th, I am at my goal. I weighed myself in the scale at work, and I should be down to 170. So my goal from here on out is just to maintain at this weight and to lose all my belly fat. Make my now start sculpting my body the way I want to. If that makes any sense. I'm gonna do it the way I want to look now. I lost all the weight. I still have a lot of belly fat. I still have belly fat, but I definitely want to lose that. And in that sense, I'm not an expert, with the whole, sodium and trans fat and this and that. I just know when you're working out and you put yourself to it and you're looking in the mirror, if you're losing or gaining weight. That's it. I'm a big believer in you are what you eat. So if you're just eating crap all day, that's all you're gonna do. Because I've done that before. At work, eating the maruchan, eating the chips, the ramen soup, fucking honey buns, all that shit. I have a totally different diet now. I'm gonna tell everybody my diet, tell everybody my workout routine, tell everybody everything. But, I'm excited. I'm excited, 100% sure about that. And very proud of myself for being able to stick with it going all the way down to 170. It's not easy, and it wasn't easy. It was a lot of hard work, but it was a lot of fun as well. And, if I'm being honest, I'm still not happy with my results, and now I want to start touching away on my body in the sense of sculpting it. Like I said, start doing certain exercises that'll help me look better. Even though the main reason I did what everything was for health. Being able to just stay a little longer on this earth. You know what I mean? And it even feels good now, and it even feels good now, because unfortunately, you get a lot of people that do notice that you're losing the weight, and when they start asking you how you did it, like, it sucks because most of those people are for a scare health reason. They say that they went to the doctor and that the doctor told them that they got to be careful, and that's when reality starts hitting a little bit more. But I'm blessed enough to say I did a workout video for a workout homeboy. Not a workout homeboy. I'm sorry, for a work homeboy. He works over there at the warehouse that I'm at right now. And he came up to me basically asking me, like, hey, I heard you lost some weight. and I was wondering if you could give me any pointers. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, man. I'd love to. So did him a little video of the workout routine that I was doing when I first started losing weight. So hopefully it helps him out. I'm just kind of more excited in that sense. I've talked about most of these subjects. I'll talk about the last one, which is going to be like audio recordings. I know I didn't do shipping and receiving, but that TV show is just going to be something crazy. So that's going to need its own video, just as far as how it's going to develop. But yeah, I already did warehousing, just as the sports, music, did the weight loss, and this one's the audio recordings. This is what ZzReports is going to be about. Different audio recordings. I'm going to go on to Reddit, read different questions, read different topics, and just see what I can learn from everybody. Once again, I'm not an expert. I don't want to be an expert. I don't want to case myself as an expert. No. I just want to come in here, ramble, talk about my experiences, talk about what I have lived through, talk about what I have lived in all of these subjects and topics. From warehousing logistics and supply chain management to my book, then I'm going to talk about shipping and receiving. It's going to be a book or a TV series talking about a group of 7 people that start up a traveling third-party logistics company. And they're going to go from state to state, warehouse to warehouse, offering their logistics services. And we're going to see a deep dive into the underground world of logistics through these people's eyes, and through this book and through this TV series. Number 3, which was the sports, the psychology, the philosophy, like I said, everything that has to do with sports, all the small things. Number 4, the weight loss, we already spoke about that. Number 5, the music experience. And number 6, the audio recordings. This, what I'm doing right now, just talking. Being able to talk to the camera and telling my experiences, and hopefully, people start seeing a little bit more. These audios are just going to be for you to put on and turn off your phone and go to sleep on this, or listen to this at work like I do. I just listen to podcasts. I listen to interviews. I listen to press conferences while I'm working. So I'm hoping this can be similar, You're just going to listen to me talk. If you have any questions, just go ahead and comment. That's all you got to do. Yeah, I'm sorry for all the coughing, too. But that's all you got to do. My voice is a little dry from all the talking, but that's what ZzReports is going to be about. You're going to see all my whack-ass bets that I do. I don't really like to post too much. I like to post when I win, I guess, but do a lot of losing too, guys. I'm gonna tell you everything when it comes to the way I live my life. I'm gonna tell you everything on the way I look at things, seeing things through my eyes. Like I said, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to have you live like me. No, I'm just trying to have you see things at a different angle, see things at a different point of view, and that's about it. This is just a straight up ramble video, just a talking video. Just probably gonna post this up, but my next goal would be to do videos just on each subject. Go check out any of the other videos that I already have up. I already have some up right now. And I hope you guys really enjoy them. Like I said, these videos are just mostly for you to put on, listen, turn off your phone, just listen to me talk. If you don't like what you're listening to, just change that shit. But, I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible. I'm going to try to make it as cool as possible. So, anybody just let me know. Let me know what's up. If you have any questions, I'm right there on Reddit as well. ZzReports. So feel free to go send me a message, chat, whatever. I'm just looking to fucking chill out too, right now that I have the opportunity, right now being on the road. So, hopefully it doesn't end up snowing. I'm still looking out the window. It's still not snowing. It's 123. It just changed to 123. So, hell yeah. Hopefully it just doesn't snow. Even though I fucked up my whole diet this weekend. I didn't get no beef. No chuck steak, no tenderloin, no nothing. So, no chuck tenderloin. I ended up getting a bunch of boneless chicken thighs though. I should have gone with the chicken breast, I guess. But no, I don't know. We'll figure that out together. I just want to make sure I lose this belly fat. I want to make sure I keep talking to you guys about all these sports, warehousing, logistics, supply chain management, my book, my TV series of shipping and receiving, weight loss, the sports psychology, sports philosophy, the music experiences as well for sure, and just these random audio recordings. So hope you guys continue having a good day, having a good weekend, having a good year. Damn, we're already 1 month into the year. Basically, 1 month is over. February's right around the corner, so go ahead and like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and let me know if you have any questions about anything in these. I'd like to just talk about them in general. So everybody just have a good one. Everybody be safe, and we'll see what's good.